Well, hello everyone, and good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. I'm Susan Kennedy, medium on Living a Loving Life with A1R Psychic Radio, recording and broadcasting to you from the Gold Coast in sunny Queensland, Australia. Beautiful day here, absolutely beautiful. So what have I got to talk about this week? A couple of things on my Living and Loving Life theme. So actually we've got Easter coming up, haven't we? We've had that beautiful new moon last night, the full moon last night. So what I'd like to talk about is the energy of Easter and what it's all about and how it can relate to you in your everyday life and also to me. So when I think about it, the energy of Easter is all about the death of Christ and the rebirth. So when you think about it, you know, whatever your beliefs are, this is how can I explain it? It's something that's celebrated worldwide. And so the energy of Easter is that Christ was crucified for being who he was, that he was betrayed by those who he trusted, and he was crucified on the cross. Now, sometimes what we can do in life is see death as a bad thing. And yet I feel that whenever something ends, which is, you know, metaphorically a death, that we could see that as an opportunity for a great new beginning. And so there are always many blessings in the down times, and it's really to look at that and to see sometimes not necessarily the death of a person, but if something has finished in your life, to see it as a blessing and to look for the opportunities that that ending will bring. Because if there's an ending, there has to be a beginning. And I know that, you know, being crucified for what you believe in is something that may have happened to you. It's happened to me at times in my life, but it's taught me to stand up and to be really strong about my beliefs and to really be a better and more open and loving person. So I'm grateful to all those people who've ever challenged me over what I do believe. The other thing is to look at, you know, when Jesus was on the cross, he had the opportunity to blame and to be in hate. But he chose not to, because he said, "Forgive them, Lord, for they know not what they do." So the thing was that he chose in that most darkest of times in his life to actually stay in the energy of love and in the energy of knowing that there's something more, and not being in the energy of blame, not being a victim, but instead choosing how he would pass and choosing how he would choose to be. So he chose to be in the energy of love, which I just think is such an amazing teaching and an amazing example, no matter what your beliefs are. And then if you look at this situation of on Easter Sunday, we're all going to be celebrating the resurrection of Christ. And what that really is that opportunity to do something again and do it in a new way. So whenever there is an ending, you know, there's an opportunity to look at something and say, well, what's happened here? What are the blessings in it? And when there is that time when you could feel betrayed or you could feel hurt by someone, then you could choose not to be in that energy of being a victim or blaming someone else. And instead you could choose to say, well, okay, what was my part here? What could I do differently? How can I grow? And then you could look at the opportunities for the resurrection, for the rebirth of yourself. How could you reinvent your business, your life, your work, your relationships with your parents, even if they've passed, or your relationships with your children or with your partner? Because life is all about relationships, is how I see it. So we've just had this beautiful full moon energy, and the full moon for me always shines a light. It brings intuition, it brings creativity, it brings magic. So what magic can you create by letting go of something that's been holding you back? So what I would say to you is, still the energy of a full moon tonight. Get yourself out there if you can. Be under the energy of the full moon. And for those of you who are in the United States, the United Kingdom listening now, yes, you've got the full moon right now. We had it last night and it was beautiful. Such a beautiful, powerful, soft, feminine energy. It can really throw you around if you're still struggling with things. So it's just to recognize that and say, what are my blessings? What can I let go of? How can I let go of blame? And how can I allow it to bring new life? So I'll leave you with that as I begin now to take my first caller for my first reading. So I've got the lovely Megan in Pennsylvania. Megan, how are you?
I'm fine. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. Really lovely to connect with you, even if it is over the airwaves. How can I help you?
I just wanted to see if my dad had any messages for me or my financials.
Okay. All right, so your dad, let's just tune into him for a little bit. Well, I feel like your dad's the sort of person that would say it's time for you to speak up. Like I just got him coming in, and it's almost as though I want to say, hey, time for you to speak up. I feel that your dad, I'm just tuning in a little bit with him. It just takes a little while for me to get that energy through. But straight away, I just had this image in my mind of him putting the microphone in front of you and saying, time for you to step up, speak up. And it feels like new doorways are opening for you. Now, when I feel your dad, and I just want to sense him so that we know he's there. Would you understand with your dad, did he have a lot of issues around his lower half of his legs?
I'm not really sure. We didn't have a deep connection relationship. We just started getting to know each other. Okay.
So he passes before you've had that opportunity?
Yeah, we had maybe a year together.
Yeah. Well, my sense of that is that, I'm just feeling his body, if you like, and I'm feeling the energy of him. And I know that he would have struggled a lot in his life. I feel like there's a lot of digestive issues. I know there's either diabetes or a lot of fluid, that would have been in his physical body. When I sense his personality, though, I feel someone that wasn't always able to stand up himself. Do you understand what I mean there? Yeah. And this is in a way why I feel he's coming forward. He's got this big heart, and it's almost like he wants to say, that there's this Superman energy that he's got now that he's in the spirit world. And he's really bringing me this sense of a reconnection of you as well with, do you have grown-up children?
No, I have younger little ones.
Okay. I just feel like maybe even a brother. Is there I feel like there's an adult male that he wants to reconnect, or say that there's either been a reconnection or that there's a healing happening with. Would you understand that?
He has a father that passed. That he might.
Okay. Yeah, this feels more about you. This feels more about you having some really good connection with a male in your life right now, and it feels more like an adult.
My husband.
Yeah. Okay. So, what I'm sensing is that he's very pleased about that relationship, about that situation. So it feels like there's either been healing around it, or there's been, like a strong connection there. Does that make sense for you?
Absolutely.
Okay, that's good. It's always hard when I'm on this side of the world. I haven't got your physical energy here. But, I just feel like with your dad as well, one of the things he'd just like to say, well, there is the energy of he'd like you to accept apology in lots of ways. And even though I don't feel you really need it, he's very humble is how he comes forward. Very humble, but also very much supporting you and behind you. And again, he brings me this energy of that you need to speak up. And there's so I don't know, you asked about finances, didn't you?
Yes.
Did you ask? Yeah. Okay, because it's as though there's so what's this about? Because is this around his passing, the finances there, or is this just general?
Just general.
Okay,
I did
because
receive some finances from him, though.
Yeah, but my sense is that on the money side, this is about you trusting, because I feel as though you've got to really reach down inside of yourself at the moment and really know that you've got the knowledge that you need for things to be okay. So I also sense that there's a feeling of, with you, if I could say, there's almost a feeling of, I'm not really sure whether I'm supposed to be doing what I'm doing. And are you studying at the moment?
No, but I have ideas to start businesses.
Yeah. Well, it's to trust in that, because it's like I was being given a book and it was saying trust in it and know that if there is learning about that it is all going to be good. So, the feeling that I'm getting is it's about getting involved, participating, knowing that the journey you're on potentially may be a little bit up and down, but ultimately there's success. So you can't see the cards that I've got because you're on the radio, but there is a video of this later. But the ultimate card I get there is a success card. There's a beautiful tiger with all of these beautiful sort of like confetti going around, and everything leading up to it says it's time for you now to get your hands dirty in a way. It's like, I've got to get in now, really trust my ideas, trust in myself. And as soon as you do that, it's like the doors start to open. The biggest thing for you, though, is speaking. It's speaking up, and it's giving voice to what you want to do. Are you musical at all?
I really love to sing.
Yeah, because it was just like, as soon as I said that, it was like I was on a piano and I was singing. So however, you know, I don't know if that's your work or what you want to do, but whatever the energy of that means, use that. Because when you're in your own vibration of joy, it really opens everything up to come to you. There is such an underestimation of how powerful it is to be in your energy and your passion and your joy. So everything I'm seeing is that things are really opening up for you. And I do feel you carry an awful lot of anxiety, though. Would I be right there? Yeah, because I physically feel things when I'm reading, so I can feel it within me. So the music is really going to help you. And it's also going to help you let go of a lot of grief, because I have a lot of energy in my lungs still and in my shoulders. Do you recognize that for yourself?
Yeah, when I get anxiety, I get that pain in my chest and my shoulders.
Yeah. And, you know, anxiety, I mean, I'm feeling it in my gut area, which is my tummy, but also in my chest and my shoulders. So the singing will open up your heart, open up your throat, but it'll put the vibration out there to the universe that you're ready now to really step into your power. And I feel that with the ideas that you've got, for me, it feels around, are you looking at doing something with children?
Yes, I am. Making children's clothes.
Go for it. Okay, go for it. And I've just got pins and needles all through my feet when I say that. Okay. So it's absolutely go for it. And I feel like there's some little brand name that you've got, and I don't know, is there a Teddy in your family, or was Teddy your father's name or anything like that? Teddy?
No.
Sorry? No? Okay, well, it's like I've got a little, on the clothes, I've got like a little label, and I don't know, it's like teddy bear, or it's not teddy bear, but it's something like that. So you're going to have a very distinctive label, because I feel like with making those children's clothes, they're pretty and they're beautiful, and it feels a lot little girly to me as well. But very, I'd be saying go up market with it. You know, don't go for the, you know, what everybody can buy. People want the really, really lovely stuff. There's a store in England called Monsoon, and they have the most beautiful girls' clothes. And I feel that will be good. And I also feel you'll be doing something with dancing as well, clothes around theatrical, musical, you know, that kind of thing. So there are, you know, like the beauty pageants that girls are in, that kind of thing. Yeah. So absolutely follow that, because it will just be, and I actually feel, by the way, that you will be doing that, but that you will be having other people that you employ. So absolutely go for it and do what you need to do. And the thing from your dad, I just want to see what else. The message I get from your dad is how beautiful he feels you are, and the sadness that he didn't spend as much time with you in those earlier days, but he's proud of the woman that you are and very proud of the mum that you are. And it's time for you to share your gifts. So go out there, make lots of clothes, bring all those other ideas in as well, and you will do very, very well. So come back and look at the video, but look at the success card. Okay?
Okay. All right. Thank you so much.
Right. That's okay, and I wish you well, and thank you very much.
Hi.
So that was Megan in Pennsylvania. Lovely energy around her and her dad. And interesting before I take Donna for the next caller, but just interesting to reflect on the beginning of the reading where I spoke about sometimes there are blessings in death. You know, when something happens, we can reflect and we can look at what opportunities we've had in life and how we can make things, you know, how we can bring more light to our lives. So, Megan, great to speak with you. So now I've got Donna in Mooresville, North Carolina. How are you, Donna?
Good. How are you?
I am very well. I'm very happy to talk to you as well. So how can I help you today?
Do what?
How could I help you today?
Well, my daughter, she's on street drugs, and she has been for a while. She's had several wrecks. She's very suicidal. Just wondering if she's going to be okay.
Yeah, okay. All right. So what I see with your daughter, my sense is that she is at that, and I'll just preface this, Donna, by saying I've been exactly where you are, right? So I've had exactly the same situation. So I do feel for you, and I do understand it completely. What I sense is with your daughter, and this is hard as mums, that she is at that point where she is at rock bottom, and rock bottom is good, okay, because it's not until we get to that point can there be change. But my feeling is that there is change coming for her, that she's got to that point where she's actually pushing these people away from her. Okay, so your job, okay, is to keep holding her in the energy of light, just to keep on seeing her well, seeing her whole, seeing her, just putting lots of beautiful love and light around her. But how I see it for her is that, I see where she is. I see it's on the street, but I see that she's really struggling. Okay, but I also see that I just feel there's this beautiful light that's with her, and that I don't think she will succumb to this. My feeling is, and what I'm seeing is that she's pushing people away. And it's as though there's going to be, I feel that there's someone that's either giving her some shelter or that's coming, and that she will, get herself back on her feet.
A new relationship, maybe? Because she's also in a bad relationship.
Yeah, I don't feel it's a relationship, because the last thing somebody like her needs is a relationship. It's a friend. It feels like it's someone that's going to help her from a friendship point of view. Because when relationships come in, it's usually there's all this other energy with it, especially while they are where they are. So, what's her date of birth, if I could ask you?
Mine?
No, hers.
Hers is October 17th, 1990.
Okay. Yeah, so she's a very powerful girl. Okay, she comes in with a lot of energy. She comes in with a lot of strength. My belief is, Donna, you may or may not agree with this, but my belief spiritually is that when our children come in and they experience addiction, they actually bring addiction with them from past lives to heal, that their job is to actually finally get over it. And I feel like your daughter's come in as a very strong person, ultimately, because I feel like before this, she would have been the last person you would have thought would do this. Yeah. So I know it's almost like at the beginning you think, wow, she can handle anything. And then this comes in. So it's almost like it gets triggered, and her job spiritually is to overcome it. So she comes in very much about learning about emotional and physical balance. And for her, the big thing is she gets easily led by other people.
She's a follower.
Yeah, and she's actually here to be a leader. So her numbers are all about her being a leader, but to do that, she has to find her personal power. And her numbers are about 2, 8. So 2 is all about balance. 8 is all about personal power. So when I see 8s in people's numbers, I know that usually there's either a lot of feelings that they can't stand up for themselves. So her job is spiritually to learn to stand up for herself and step into her 10 number, and the 10 is leadership, creativity, and intuition. So she's here, she's very in tune, and she feels other people's pain. And right now, what I keep seeing is this. I keep seeing I want to push people away, and I'm really knowing that I've got to find myself. So I can tell you when she does...
She's been trying to do that for about 3 or 4 days now.
Good. So you're, So sorry, what were you going to say?
But she's very suicidal. She says that she feels like just walking on the interstate or getting on the interstate, parking her vehicle and just running out in front of the truck. And she's Googled taking rat poison, and that it takes about 3 hours to kill you. She's very suicidal.
Yeah. So can you get some help for her? Is she willing to get help?
she won't go. I've tried. I've begged. I've offered to pay for it.
Yeah. So the thing to do, and if it's okay with you as well, I will send her a distant healing later today, because the more that you can just keep holding her in light and love and just sending that energy to her, because what's got to happen is the light's got to reach those dark places within her. So, and I see it. I can see it up ahead of her. I can see this big light. So I know that in a way she's at that point, and as hard as it is, my feeling is just keep being there for her, and it feels like there will be just this opportunity for her to say, I'm done with this, because she has to get to that point. Okay. And obviously whatever you can do, the big thing for you is just to keep on seeing it differently. There's actually physical energy in worry, and this is one of the things I really learned in my own family situation, was that when I was in that absolute anxiety inside of myself, and it's one of my children, so when I was in that situation as well, it really tore me apart, and I found that was adding to that person's concern. So what I had to do is really, really pull myself out of it.
Oh, I've tried, and tough love is so hard. I mean, because I pay her bills, and I hate to see her without stuff, but I'm to the point where I've spent so much money. Yeah. It's like I'm just enabling her.
Yeah. So the tough love though is not paying her bills. The tough love is allowing her to get to the bottom. And I know that's hard. I absolutely know how hard that is. And at some level, what you have to recognize is that if she doesn't overcome the addiction in this life, she'll have to come back and do it again, I believe. And, that may not be a belief that you have, but I know that whatever we create in this life, we're 100% responsible for. So it's easy to say, well, when we go to the spirit world, everything gets wiped clean. It's a case of we have to really, just keep her in love, keep her in this energy. I always draw cards before a reading, and I know that this is right. I know it's been tough. I know that there's she's at that point where it's about that she's going to get this breakthrough, is how I see it. And right now, you've got to remember we have got this full moon energy as well, and it really does. To me, it just shines a light on everything. So if people are struggling, it amplifies it, makes it feel worse. Now, until the pain's great enough, none of us will ever make changes, and that's the truth. That's the truth. She obviously is in pain. And so the more that you can just be there as a support without enabling, let her know that there's support there. Keep her in love. Keep her in love. And my feeling is that, what I'm seeing is she's going to really reach her way out of it. And there'll be people that want to pull her back, but more and more she's recognizing this isn't going to work for her. And I'll just tell you a quick story, if I can, that last week I did a reading for a young gentleman who came to me, and he was actually physically with me, and I did the reading, and at the end, I just asked if there were any questions, and he agreed with everything that was in the reading. And then he said, you didn't pick up that I had an ice addiction. I said, really? He said, yeah, well, 6 months ago, I nearly died, but I got myself out of it. And and he's been clean ever since. And I just said to him, well, I can feel that. If I would feel it if it was still there, because I actually feel like I physically got needles in me when I'm with someone that's an addict. So I actually knew that he'd done the work and that he'd done what he needed to do. Now, with your daughter, when I tune into her, my feeling is that she's
on pills and coke. She's not, thank God, she's not on the meth or the needles and stuff like that. Hers is mainly pills and coke.
Yeah, but she's still getting to her rock bottom in a way. And her thing is that, she will be, I feel that she's going to come out really well. She's going to be someone that potentially is an advocate for helping people get off this sort of thing later on. So she's a strong girl. I feel like there's friendship, that there's support there for her that's either appearing or is there right now that's going to really help her. So, so I hope that helps, Donna.
It does. And one more question. Just a short story. I was married for 18 years, my husband left me for another woman 5 years ago, 6 years ago almost. I haven't dated much at all. I finally met someone, and we've been seeing each other for about 8 months now, and but he shows no emotion. Is this going anywhere, or? He just 26-year.
Yeah. Well, the straight away the thing I get is there is a barrier between you, and this is about you deciding what you want and asking for what you want energetically and emotionally. But where it is at the moment, he's it's as though he's not fully with you. So, you have to keep focusing on what's right for you. Haven't really got time. We've only got a minute left, so I'm probably not going to be able to read much into it. But what my sense is that the big thing for you is to not allow this relationship to stop you from growing personally. See, this is about you learning about yourself. How can you be you in a relationship? How can you have what you want? And is this what you want? Do you want second best, or do you want what you want? So my question is back to you, that at the moment it doesn't feel like it is going anywhere. It has potential when you stand up, when you sort of really decide that, you have to say what you want, and if it's not there, then you have to take the appropriate action, because you're not here to have second best, by the way. You're here to have, and I feel that you are going to find someone that you can really have a good relationship with. Is it him or not? I'm not sure at this point. So I'm sorry I can't be more specific than that.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, that's okay. And I wish you well. And so all the very best. And I do have a Facebook page, Susan Kennedy Medium, and even on my website, Susan Kennedy Medium, there are some blogs and some information about relationships. I've just created a relationship program just so people like yourself can learn about yourself and how you can be stronger in relationship, because we keep on creating the same patterns if we don't learn from it.